Good morning. Happy Wednesday, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me this morning. Let's take a deep breath in together. So breathe in and breathe out. So good to be alive. This morning when I woke up, the first thought that came to my mind literally was rise and shine. And the image that came to my mind was I saw myself like the sun coming up on the horizon of the earth, and literally I was rising and shining. And it really got me in such a good feeling state, and it really just jump started my day. And today I want to talk to you guys. I want to share with you something very vulnerable. As y'all know, like I took some time off from social media last week, all week, to really be present and intimate with myself. And it's been a game changer. It's been so powerful what magic we can create when we spend such an intimate time with ourselves. So what do I mean by intimate, right? Intimacy, it's into me, you see. So same thing when it's a relationship between you and you, right? A lot of the times we are not intimate with ourselves. There are certain emotions that come up throughout the day, and we run away or we distract ourselves with our phone, with food, with gossiping, with complaining, with watching the news, whatever it is. A lot of us are not intimate with ourselves and our feelings, our experiences. Like we are not fully allowing ourselves to experience whatever it is that we are experiencing. So what I did these past couple of days after coming off of the whole week without social media, I've been just feeling a lot more and more deepened connection and intimacy with myself. And a couple of nights ago, I was just sitting in bed. I like to meditate and just ground myself a little bit first thing in the morning and also right before I go to bed. So I was just sitting with myself for a while and really just diving deep to feel what was coming up for me. And all of a sudden, I just caught this image, this sensation. It was almost like this pit in the tummy kind of feeling, that this sense of infinite loneliness. Infinite loneliness that were just sitting at the pit of my tummy. If you guys are studying into the chakra system, I just learned today, like the solar plexus chakra. It's like right here, I think. I'm not sure. I just learned it today. And that's where you get the seed of your emotions and thoughts are. So I got this sensation in my tummy, this like feeling, this sensation of infinite loneliness. And then adding on top of that, I caught this picture of this really, really sad little girl, which was me, deep down, where she was like basically like holding her knees, like sitting in the corner in this dark room that's very cold. It was empty. It was almost like this infinite space that there was no one around her, and she was just like curled up and crying to herself. And that feeling, it just like I felt a drop in my stomach. That's a little girl living inside of me. There's a little girl inside of me. There's a little Miko inside of me that it's perpetually sitting, crying, hiding, curled up in this cold, dark place that's infinitely like she's alone, right? So there's this little girl in me, and I really wanted to run away. I didn't want to feel that. I didn't want to look at that. It really just blew my mind. Like, she's in there, she's in here. And to think that adding on top of this sad little girl, I used to have, still working on it, all of these harsh judgment, criticism, rejection, avoidance, all of these things adding on top of what's already happening with this little girl. It's not okay. But we all do this, right? That's why we feel triggered in our relationships, in our day-to-day life. Even not getting the kind of likes and engagements on social media trigger us to feeling a certain way, feelings of rejection, feelings of abandonment, feelings of not good enoughness. All of those things are just a manifestation of this little girl or this little boy sitting in your being. Right? It shows itself in different ways. So if your partner says something that upsets you, or if you're romantic, like your boyfriend, your girlfriend, did something that made you feel like you weren't cherished, made you feel like you weren't appreciated, all of those things are just triggers of this little girl or this little boy in us. And we don't take the time to tend to that little girl or that little boy. Instead, we avoid it with going on social media, scrolling through, distracting ourselves so we don't have to face or feel that emotion, that sense of infinite loneliness that's at the pit of our beingness. And I'm almost sure, unless you have done the work to do the inner healing, a lot of us have these feelings deep inside, right? We are afraid of rejection. We're afraid of abandonment. We're afraid of people not liking us. All of these feelings are rooted in our being. And unless we do the work to heal it, to transcend it, to be there for that little girl, to be there for that little boy, it's always going to run your life. And we start to react to situations versus respond in an empowered way. So something happens and it triggers us to respond or to react in like a defensive way, or in a way that we lash out in anger, or in a way that we retreat or withdraw, or we play this game of like, not texting the other person back, right? So it's so insane how much we react to situations outside of us that trigger this little girl, this little boy in us. And it is our responsibility to do whatever it needs to give her that love, to give him that love. And what happened to me was when I saw and felt that sad, frightened, infinitely lonely little girl in me, I just leaned in. I leaned in and I held this space and be like, take a couple of deep breaths and be like, okay, I'm here for you. We don't need anyone outside of us to make you feel love. And like, I just saw myself, this bigger me holding this little me, and I started to feel a shift in her. I felt like the room got brighter. I felt like she had a smile on her face. I felt that she was starting to get excited. It's like that childlike innocence came back, and she was like tiptoeing her way, and she wanted to come out again and play and just be joyful. So a lot of the times we all get to do this. Like at the end of the day, we get to fill up our own cup. And I am still in my process. Like I'm still in my journey. Like one of the biggest way that I discover my own triggers is in my connection with romantic partners. When I go on dates, when I'm in a relationship, it brought up the biggest triggers in me. And I really get to look at, okay, what is it about the other person? Why am I so attached? Like, why do I need this person to make me feel a certain way? But then the moment I said, I can give that to myself, that's when I feel this liberation of energy, this freedom, this like, it almost felt like I broke off this chain that I have with this other person. And it just feels so liberating. It feels amazing that I know I can pour this love and validation and Andrea, attachments and trauma. And it's like so subtle, but when you can shift into that empowered state, knowing that I don't need anybody, I don't need any outside conditions to make me feel whole, to make me feel good enough, to make me feel loved, that's the moment that true freedom really lies. And now it's just a matter of working on it consistently so that I don't shift back into that mode of needing this person to text me back to it's so insane, it's so toxic, and it's like, but at the same time it's a beautiful journey. It's so beautiful that I get to be so intimate with this little girl in me, and I get to love her up and just shower her with appreciation and give her a little hug. And I'm on my journey. It's so fun. It's exciting. And that's all I want to share with you guys today. Really get to know this little girl and this little boy in you, because I can guarantee you she's in there. He's in there. And she or he needs you more than anyone else. And we all get to experience true freedom with emotional sovereignty. All right, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in today. Have an amazing day. And I'll see you tomorrow.